All right, hello everyone. Postal Corps Commander back. Here to do another game review. I don't know how this one ends. So this is a game from a ladder game from 2013 between Andy and Jono. So this is going to be exciting here. We got one of TA's all-time greats, Andy versus Jono here, and this should be a pretty interesting game. What you're looking at here is the TA map. There are two TA maps, really, if you talk to a lot of people. There's Gods of War and Painted Desert. If you know how to play those, then you know how to play Total Annihilation. Unfortunately for me, in 1 versus 1 Painted Desert and Gods of War, I was pretty bad. I was not very good at 1 versus 1 Gods of War. I was just sluggish, and the fact that core is really not good on this map for a lot of reasons. So I tried a lot of quirky, weird strategies. I may go over them some other time. But for today, we'll take a look at our two players. We've got Andy down here in the south and Jono up here in the north. The map is slightly not balanced from starting positions. We got some +2s right here, and then we got the 1.2. And then we've got the 2s, and then the 0.8. So starting over here, you got better metal extractors. And you also see that there's rocks on each island. This is back before when Cave Dog was designing these. They didn't think that pure balance was directly appropriate, although you can see here these are balanced for metal extractors across from each other, and these two islands are balanced for metal extractors across from each other. So, but the starting positions are in this corner and on this one, so who knows what they were thinking when they went ahead and designed that. So there are rocks all over the place that are available for you if you decide you want to go air first. Wind is mediocre, so you can get lucky with it, or not at all. There's these plants right here that you can reclaim and start with a little extra energy to get that fast air out in the beginning. And there's some elevation here to the sides of this. So you can see that the missiles from Skeeters would have trouble hitting these metal extractors early on. Now, some of them can be hit, some of them can't. If you position differently, you might be able to get a little bit of damage on them. But there's a lot of different ways that you can play this map. There's also this lovely metal deposit right in the middle map. Title, if I recall, is somewhat mediocre here. So we'll go ahead and we'll get this started. We'll see how they decide they want to play it. Andy says he should be padding his wins, not playing Jono, indicating that he believes that. Um, yeah, Klopp has never seen Andy here. They're on the wrong side of an ass whipping. Um, Andy says he does okay here. Jono, I believe, is pretty well practiced on this one. Although Andy, being a TA player, knows how to play Gods of War. So again, this is that pregame trash talk. They decide to walk mexes. Randy walks all of his mexes before dropping his vehicle, and Jono only walks 3 before dropping his. That leaves you open for air. Although likely he's able to think, I'm free to walk because I didn't see those plants get sucked up. That's the thing, is he's keeping an eye on the other person's map to see, are they sucking up plants? Both of them are going con. Jono, because he's vehicle done first, has that con out first. He says he went 3 max vehicle, although he went 4 max vehicle. And he says he stalled E because he saw him suck up the plant. Jono says he didn't. Jono says he doesn't stall. Now, for those who aren't familiar with the term, stalling is when you are trying to build, but you don't have enough resources to manage the output with your income, and you're out of metal in your storage. And what that means is you are stalling. You are building at slower than the standard build speed. And so that's what he was talking about there when he says stalling. Stalling is very bad. It is not something that you want to do. But in general, you want to have as much construction going as you have income coming in, so as not to excess any of your resources. So we can see here those by going vehicle, their plan is they want to be able to outbuild their opponent. Now they're both switching, and they're going to go air next. The plan for a lot of Gods of War players is you're going to airlift your construction vehicles that you built on this map to other islands. That way you can take advantage of those resources. Because the sea resources aren't particularly good, so it's not like other maps where there are metal extractors in the water. So you can see here, the first thing that Andy's putting out right here is an atlas. And we'll see what Jono decides he wants to settle on. He decides he's going to be aggressive. He's going to put out a bomber first. And one of the biggest things that can happen in the Gods of War game is that when you're atlasing and you get your early atlas out, you go ahead and you pick up that construction vehicle. See, that's what he's doing right here. And it gets shot down by a fighter. So Andy goes ahead and he scouts. He wants to see, is it safe for him to bring it over? And it is. We'll go ahead and slow down so we can go ahead and watch this bombing run. So he tagged 3 wins, but that's not particularly good for that. But the bomber did survive. Marks those missile towers, misses it though, and the bomber gets taken out. So that wasn't a good run. But he keeps going, staying aggressive. He knows he took out those wins, so he knows he's got a chance to take those out. Now, he's probably spied that atlas there, so he knows that Andy's expanding. Andy's throwing out fighters. He wants to control these islands. They pass each other. He's really trying to keep him off those metal extractors. He flies it off screen, seeing those bombers. I'm seeing the fighters. There he goes. He's trying to clear out these air defenses. Seems like there might be a bit of lag going on. Jono staying air, staying aggressive. Plenty of bombers. He's got his atlas out. I don't know what that was doing on the other side of the map. That might have been a lag issue. See how powerful bombers are in the hands of somebody who really knows how to use them. So those are some runs that are really keeping Andy busy. Taking out those missile towers. See, Andy hasn't even capped these mexes yet. In part because he knows as soon as he gets those down, they're getting taken over by a bomber. Jono gets away with murder, sneaks through the scout. Although Andy sees that, he's going to fly up here. This is going to be not good. Not good for Jono. Loses his atlas, and then now Andy really wants to take out this con. That'd be really big news for him. Jono, in an effort to keep it alive, nanoblocks once, but returns his attention to bombing. He's given up that con. That's a big win for Andy. So Andy's on 2 islands here. Jono's just on 1. And Jono's about to drop one of his 4 vehicle cons. That was a pretty good run there. See how hard it is for Andy to keep his mexes capped. But because Jono's so busy bombing his main island so hard, he's not paying attention to this second island that's been taken over. Every time Jono flies by, he marks out those missile towers, intending to hit them again. Now, Jono's doing something interesting here. His comm is going for a walk. Now, the downside of this is your commander is a peacemaker and a builder. Even though he has that awesome D-gun, it means that this entire time he's walking, he's not building. Nice nano block by Andy right there, protects his metal extractor. Now, without any fighters, it's probably going to be pretty tough for Jono to get established here. He's got enough metal. Fighters, you can see, they don't have really strong attacks, so he's going to start building that. And he goes ahead, groups up his fighters. He's going to test the waters here. Nice little raid. Drops fighters. Now he's going to put out a Samson, and that's going to keep the fighters away. So it looks like Jono's going to get away there and take over an island. If I were Jono, I probably would have moved that con on top of that so it wouldn't leave a wreck when it died. Just thinking that I wouldn't be able to contest if he gets an air con out. And he puts out more construction vehicles. Now, because Jono's got a vehicle again, he can replace that lost construction vehicle. But simply just in resources right now. Andy's on 13 to Jono's 10. And Andy's up by 1,000. So Jono's bombing has been really good. Really keeping him busy. But you can see Andy's got himself rebuilt. And he's got that second island going as well. Oh, and Andy decides it's time to return the favor. Goes back around, takes out that metal extractor. You can see up here, Andy's going, he's going to start taking over that island. He's got the fighters, he's got the air superiority. Just hits the winds. That's why people keep putting those winds in front of their medical extractors. Their metal extractors, just so they can protect them from bomber attacks. More lag going on right here. And we're talking about their lag issues. Jono's Island looks pretty nice here, covered with winds. Yep. Jono keeps going, bombing. And he's just trying to clear out those air defenses so that his bombers can survive more than a few runs. Then again, Andy's got this top island completely unmolested, his main island's not being bothered. Now it looks like Andy's building K-bots because he intends to build pelicans. This island, you can see how devastating these bomber attacks are. But he's got enough construction vehicles there to keep up with it. Doing his best to take out bombers before he can get there, using his fighters. That's what the air superiority helps with, but even with it, you can see it's really hard to control all these bomber attacks. Now the issue is, Jono's using a ton of time to do all these bombing runs. So, while it looks like, oh, he's being really aggressive, he's getting a lot of kills to deaths, he's really making use of these bombers, he's using a ton of time for these really well-executed runs. And then sometimes stuff like this happens. Jono's going C. We've seen the K-bot. He anticipates those skeeters aren't going to be worth very much. Looks like he's planning on going Crusaders. Yep. He tags, throws a few bombs on that. Now, for bombing an advanced K-bot lab, you generally have to come from above to hit more bombs, because otherwise you'll just hit what's under construction. You want to hit on these edges. More lag here, laggy Andy bombers. 18 to 15, Andy to Jono on metal. Oop. Jono's gotten ahead on the metal production. Like, no, maybe that was just a... Oh, yeah, he's got these metal. This is going to drive those skeeters out of the sea. Andy's intention here is to go ahead and start really harassing. He wants to use these pelicans to raid. You can see, why is Jono's Crusader shooting a death charge at that pelican? He is force firing. So what he's doing is he's telling it to attack, which causes it to shoot its death charge where he tells it to. And so that's how you can get a little extra damage on Pelicans. It's very useful, especially for core. And he gets some Farks out. Jono's doing a really good job of converting that excess energy. There we go. Andy's got his metal makers right there. Andy's 26 to 17. I buy that. That is Jono being pretty far behind in resource now. This is 2 islands to 3. Pelicans were expensive to go. So he's using radar targeting here. He wants to take out these things that he's seen in the water. That would be really bad for Andy to lose that con. He drops the con. Andy looks like he reclaimed his C, so yeah, so he could go Pelicans. See how Andy's not pressing in? He doesn't want to get close to these Crusaders. He knows that he's going to lose them if he does. He's going to have to put out some skeeters to help protect him. So his bomber, Andy comes out. He wants to try and take care of those. Here comes a nice bombing run. And it doesn't work. You see how he put that metal really tall. And then another nano block saves it. Very close to being dead. Flies one last bomber in, last ditch run. 2 bombs doesn't do it. These Farks are now repairing it. He's putting up another metal storage, just nano blocking. Jono drives in. Tags 1 Pel. Gets another. See how fast the Pelicans are dying to it, although he blows one out of the water with his bombers. It's an even fight depending on who wins that wreck field. Jono starts hooking some titles. And he's building some titles as well. Missiles are shooting in. That Crusader's going to go down. That's a big loss for Jono if it does. Ooh, gets away. And he's showing really good control of the map here. And that air superiority is really helping him out. Jono's putting out some skeeters, not to deal with the Pelicans, but to deal with the air that's been harassing his Crusaders. Getting this one repaired. You can see those Pelicans, they're using their missiles on the, the Skeeters are using the missiles on the Pelicans and not shooting at the air. That was a mistake by Jono right there, driving those that far out. This right here, what does he have? Okay. You might be wondering, what on earth is this thing doing? This right here is an Atlas with an invader in it. So that's the little crawling bomb that he's planning on self-destructing and detonating over the top of Jono's Crusaders. So it's like a mini nuke that he can use and wipe these out. Once Andy wipes these out, he's free essentially to drive his Pelicans in and do some serious damage with them. So now it's also the risk that it's going to blow up over your own unit. But here it goes. Oh, there it goes. Blows up over his own unit and damages them slightly. That wasn't how he wanted to do it. So you can see how even these missile towers aren't hitting. So now Jono takes control of them, and he's force firing. No, never mind. He's taking control of his Crusaders. And he's really pressing his metal advantage home here. Jono's using his missile towers to try and take out some of these Pelicans. That's not going to work. They're coming in. That's Jono's bombers flying off on the handle there. He loses them. Definitely not a good look. He's going to build up some shore defense, trying to put up a Guardian. And he gets it up just as the cons die. So he's going to use this to try and protect his shore and hopefully claim the wreck field. So that's a big metal investment right there. So if he can get the wreck field out of that, you can see there's plenty here to make that worth it. That just wasn't his own stuff. Some of it was Andy's as well. Thing is, though, Guardians don't move. So Andy knows he dropped 1,500 metal on a Guardian. I'm free to attack his main island. Comes in from behind, catches the cons. Drops the C-Con. Doesn't have enough Crusaders to contest this. He's going to lose that C-Lab as well. Jono trying to switch gears and go Pelicans. He wants to counter that. It's just too late for him, in my opinion, though. He's building up some metal storage because he wants to keep all this metal. He doesn't want to access it as he reclaims it with his commander. He's going to use that to try and get the... well, get the K-Bot Lab going. Andy comes in again. Gonna drive this sub out. Cute by Jono, try that out, but I don't think it's gonna work. Guardian gets taken down. Without the cons to work on it, this is just too much firepower for it. Now, with the Pelicans giving line of sight, the Crusaders are gonna go ahead and open up on this. Andy catches his bomber out of the water with no air support. So his commander out of the water, so he goes ahead and he's just going to drop bombs on him. Those bombs will do a little bit of damage, but seeing the commander here coming in for a D-gun on this lab, and he's going to bring his Crusaders over, take out the commanders, this should be game. That's game right there. Good game, guys. Andy once again demonstrates that he knows how to play TA. Jono, you did a lot better than I would. Yeah, it was a pretty good classic Gods of War game right there for Vehicle Con. That turned out to be the pretty standard strategy back when I was playing. It was just the ability of them to build and take over the islands was simply too great for a lot of other strategies. And air first, especially with the sketchy wind and needing to reclaim the planet, almost always was a tell that you were going to be coming by with a bomber. So, but good job on Andy winning that air superiority. You can see how important that is on this map. And the end result was a win for him. So, great game, guys. And we'll catch you all next time. Bye-bye.